breaking down cultural boundaries, overcoming trauma, and changing direction to become unlimited. This is the Becoming Unlimited podcast with me, your host, Urvashi, aka Ush. Each week, we'll be discussing various ways in which you can be your best self and learn to dance with the universe. We'll also be chatting to some inspirational women from a diverse range of backgrounds, and I too will share some insight into how I changed my life using the universal laws and a lot of healing. So, let's dive in. Hey guys, it's Urvashi back on the Becoming Unlimited podcast. It has been a crazy week. What can I say? I landed back from Austin on Tuesday, and since then my body has been trying to reintegrate back into real life, work and society. So I went to Austin for the Highest Self Weekender, put on by the Dharma Coaching Institute, Sahara, Rose, Neeta, Bushan and Ajit as well. And it was an intense weekend of overwhelm, tears, trauma release, and a lot of twerking. And what can I say? Honestly, I have never been to an event like this, especially not alone. And going alone felt incredible. I was so nervous when I got to the airport, but actually when I got there was a beautiful group of women who I'd actually trained with on my course and was staying with in a house with as well. And they were there ready to open their arms wide. I was one of 3 British people at this event. Honestly, it was mind-blowing. Yes, there were some Brits who lived in America, but Brits that had flown over, I was one of 3. And it was incredible. So I've spent the last 3.5 days trying to process the 3 days in Texas. I was there for 5 and had 2 days to myself, but to process the 3 days. And the 3 days were very different from each other. So the first day was all about that inner child healing. So I'd done a lot of work on my inner child before, and this just took it up to a next level. Like Mel Wells, I am Mel Wells on Instagram, was there, and she's one of my favorite people to listen to. She's just so authentic in who she is, and her inner child healing, it just made me feel safe. So a practice that I want you to do at some point, maybe not right now, but maybe when you're going to bed later this evening or tomorrow, is have a think about when you were 18, what happened? Maybe meditate on it, close your eyes. When you were 18, was there anything prominent that happened to you? Then go to 17 and 16 and 15, all the way down to 1. Try and see if something comes up whilst you're in a meditative state. And then hold your inner child. Just be kind to her. Tell her she's okay. Tell her about the amazing things that she's done since being 18. Because I promise you, that's what she needs to know. And then I want you to help her find a safe space to be. Where was her safe space? Where is her safe space? Wherever that is, that's where you need to leave her. Because when you leave her in her safe space, you will be able to thrive. So day 1, all about inner child healing. We cried. Oh my God, we cried. We also laughed because as a child, do you remember playing? I remember playing so much outside, inside. There was no traumas. There was no mega traumas or traumas from the world or from school. Nothing was major for me apart from at 10 years old. Something I remember quite vividly, which one day we may come on to, but right now I'm just going to keep it to myself. And day 2 was all about that teenage angst, that teenage rage. Have you ever screamed into a pillow? It feels good, right? When you scream into a pillow, nobody else can really hear you. It's all about you taking that rage out. This was different. I got to scream out loud in a room of 300 other wild women who were screaming out loud. And honestly, At first, I felt so reserved, so reserved. But then I just went with it. And it felt incredible. Like just getting this angst out and then telling my partner what I wanted to tell the people in my life when I was a teenager. Getting it out. And honestly, I genuinely didn't believe that I had anything to say from my teenage years. I was quite a geeky, shy, but also exuberant teenager. I know an oxymoron if you put it at that. And I didn't really fit in anywhere, but I didn't not fit in anywhere. So I was that girl who was floating amongst the geeks, the cool kids, the fun people, the scientists. I would literally float. I didn't really have I had good friends, but I was always a floater. I was good friends with pretty much everyone. Obviously now I have my good friends from school and I love them to bits. But there was angst in my teenage years. I didn't realise. And when I was telling my partner what I wanted to say when I was a teen, I ended up bursting into tears. I didn't even know that was possible. And then day 3 was all about finding and listening and channeling our highest self. What does your highest self want you to know? Maybe journal on that at some point. What does your highest self want you to know? My highest self wanted me to know that I'm on the right path and that the leap that I've just taken is exactly what I needed to do. Talking of the leap that I've just taken, I've recently handed my notice in. This is the first place I'm saying this. So 3 weeks ago, I handed my notice in. And I then took this entire huge leap of faith into the unknown. Obviously, as you know, I'm a life coach. I'm a spiritual life coach. I'm a soul purpose life coach. I help women with their health, their self-worth, their self-love, and their purpose. Finding that thing that lights them up, that brings them joy, that they feel love towards and they want to do in their life. And this was this thing where I was like, well, if I don't make space for this part of my life, how am I going to work with all my clients? How am I going to create that retreat that I want to do? How am I going to create all these programs? And as soon as I took that leap, as soon as I handed in my notice, literally, the universe went, yes, girl. Yes, you did the right thing. Because my Thailand retreat sold out. I had women sign up to my Stronger for Longer program. I have clients who want to work with me because they feel aligned with my energy. And genuinely, I have seen changes and growth in my clients who told me that the spiritual and Dharma life coaching that I do with them is better than therapy. Genuinely. And honestly, it's like the universe is just aligned. I took that faithful leap and the universe caught me in a parachute or on a net. It just caught me and went, this is your truth. And that's what the higher self weekend taught me, that this was my path. This was my truth. And that's what I want for you, to understand what your path and your truth is. So if you get a chance, just breathe and tune in to your highest self. If you could do anything you wanted to do right now, in this moment, if money and time was no issue, what would you do? Genuinely. Would you be working where you're working? If so, incredible. Would you be doing something different? Maybe you're serving with love. Maybe you're running your own business. Maybe you're traveling the world and just exploring cultures, and through that enabling yourself to create a blog. Whatever it is, whatever your highest self wants you to do, what is that one step that you can take today towards doing that? Do it. So yeah, this week has all been about integrating myself back into reality and literally releasing so much. When I say so much, I have slept I keep falling asleep. And yes, part of that could be jet lag, but the other day I slept 12 hours straight. I've been coughing again, like a lot, like releasing that energetic cough. Sweating in my workouts, yes, but rehydrating with electrolytes and pooping. Literally releasing everything. And yes, I did just say pooping. Honestly, as a health coach, I love talking about poop because healthy poop means healthy body, right? And releasing all this stuff is so good for us. So 9 months ago, I want to tell you a story. 9 months ago, when I started at the Dharma Coaching Institute, I had really bad reflux and I was very contractive in my energies and how I was and how I sat. And people were talking about like how certain things in life made them feel really expansive. And I was like, what do you mean? What does being expansive mean? I don't understand it. And I remember having a coaching session with my pod partner going, I genuinely don't know what expansiveness feels like. What does it really mean? And she tried to explain it to me like, you feel like you can grow and you feel like things are happening for you and it's all from this place of love. And I was like, no, I don't get it. I just don't understand what that means to feel expansive. But now, 9 months on, a graduate of the Dharma Coaching Institute, a graduated life coach, spiritual life coach, soul purpose life coach, double certified, and someone who took that leap from work and someone who decided to just go, you know what, there's this weekend happening somewhere else in the world. I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. That is expansive. Now I 100% know what it feels. I feel like I've risen. And that's my expansiveness. I feel like I've risen from the depths of, the deepest, darkest depths of my trauma from the reflux, my trauma from the bulimia, my trauma from putting on all that weight, my childhood trauma from being bullied about being hairy, and also the major trauma in my life, which was the rape at 21. And yes, I haven't discussed the rape yet on this podcast, but I will. But the thing is, today, at this time, I'm sat here in my lounge talking to you. I just felt like doing a sporadic little session on the podcast, just to tell you that you too can feel expansive. You too can feel like your life is full of joy, love, peace, enlightenment, that you are serving from a place from your heart, that you are running a business or maybe doing a job that you love. Whatever it is that makes you feel expansive today, go and do it. And I know that the bridge from my lower self to my higher self is movement. And that's what I've learned. So whether it's movement through walking outside in the fresh air and grounding my feet on the grass, or it's movement through shaking, shamanic shaking, or it's movement through just undulating my body and doing, a bit of belly dancing, or it's movement through twerking and getting down to Sahara Rose's DJ set, or it's movement through, being in the gym, lifting weights or cardio, or just putting my favorite song on and just getting down to it, in my lounge. Whatever that movement is, I know that it is the bridge from that place where I feel low, I feel contracted, I feel closed off to the world, to feeling big, feeling open, arms wide, to just bring in that beautiful world to me, that universe, that energy, those vibrations. And when you go from that low contractive state and you get to that high vibrational state, you are literally going up in the Hawking's Hertz scale. There is an actual scale. The highest vibrational state is enlightenment. The highest vibrational scent is a rose. The vibrational state of enlightenment is around 900 hertz. The vibrational scent of a rose, I believe, is around 700 hertz. You know, so if you don't feel high vibe and you can't do that movement or whatever it is that bridges you from low state to high state, put on a candle. Make sure it's rose scent. Genuinely, it will help you leap from that low state to that high state. So that's all I wanted to say today, is that this week has been a real integration week. I'm trying to process everything. There's a lot more coming from me very, very soon. And if you are interested in having a coaching session with me or seeing what it will be like to work with me, then I do offer free clarity calls. I will put the link in the show notes so you can see where you can sign up for a free clarity call. And I'll also link to my Instagram. You'll see all the fun stuff that I've been getting up to. And honestly, taking this leap and leaving my job, I've still got 2 weeks left. So, you know, I'm doing everything I can for them, and I'm still being my high vibe self. But I know that as soon as I leave, like, life is just going to open up for me. The universe is just going to go, yes, this is it. I can just feel it. And the reason I can feel it is because I've taken myself from that contractive energy to that expansive energy, from that low vibrational state to that higher vibrational state. Genuinely, my days are filled with joy. Even if I'm sitting around like reading or working or emailing or doing whatever I'm doing, I feel it's coming from a place of joy. The sunshine honestly brings me so much joy. So I'm so thankful for the sun right now. So whatever you can do today to bridge that gap between your lowest vibration to that highest vibration, whatever makes you feel good, go and do it. And anytime you need to, go and do it again. If it's breath work, do the breath work. If it's meditation, do the meditation. If it's yoga, or if like me, it's about just getting out of your own way and moving your body however you want to move your body, do it. Because I promise you today you'll feel that little bit more high vibe, that little bit better, and you will go from that contractive, small state of living in that fear, that trauma, that guilt, that apathy, to living in love, joy, peace, freedom, and enlightenment. And you will feel so good. So I am going to read you out. I am going to pick you a card. If you can hear them, I am just shaking the cards, or I don't even know what the word is actually. Mixing the cards up, shuffling. There we go, shuffling the cards. So let me pick you a card. And as you pick the card, I'm just going to repeat the prayer, and you can say it after me. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. The prayer of reconciliation and forgiveness. The Ho'oponopono. Ooh, so today I've just picked the law of time. You have the ability to bend time with the power of perception. So let me find that card reading and I will read it out to you. Ooh, let's have a look. The law of time. Okay. Time is an illusion. The extent to which you focus on the doing is the extent to which you will experience a lack of time. The extent to which you focus on being is the extent to which you experience time being limitless. Furthermore, your perception creates the experience of time. For example, work expands as so to fill the time available for its completion. It is in the demanding of energy upon universal law that energy forms. Declare it is done. Upon pulling this card, you are deemed the anointed one. It is up to you to make the declaration of who you desire to be and what you desire to experience in this lifetime. Remember, this is not a dress rehearsal. Make the most of every moment. This is the universe asking for your order. Rise to the occasion and become the person you always desired to be. A little journal action for you now. Every time you notice yourself not being present, take 10 deep, slow breaths and journal about what you experience. So girls, that is the law of time. You have the ability to bend time with the power of perception. And I can 100% assure you that that is true. When I was working in a job that didn't feel aligned, the days went so slow. But now that there is this 2-week end in sight, I can already feel it. Time. I'm using time to such an ability. Like, there's time to do everything now. And sometimes I find there's not enough time in the day. We all have 24 hours, but your perception will help guide the way you use that time. So, become your highest self. Live in high vibe. You will use that time more efficiently because you'll be doing everything that you love to do. As always, peace and love is coming your way from me. And if you ever want to reach out, just find me at Unlimited Urvashi. This is a solo cast by me, Urvashi. I will put details in the show links on how you can contact me and also how you can find me on Instagram and book in that clarity call. So thank you for taking your time and being with me today. I'm sending you peace and love as always. This is Urvashi out for another solo cast.